Blog Talk Radio.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. We have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
George Bush has invoked a new world order without enunciating a new American purpose.
Bush said, and it's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order, and instead it looks like we got a lot of disorder.
Today we take an essential step in defeating terrorism while protecting the constitutional rights of all Americans. Preventing mass terror will be the responsibilities of presidents far into the future.
The Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. These are not simply words written into aging parchment. They are the foundation of liberty and justice in this country.
This is an ideological battle. Some people believe in globalism, others of us believe in national sovereignty. It's a contest between ideologies, whether we believe in our institutions here, our national sovereignty, our Constitution, or are we going to further move in the direction of international government? It's just knowledge is out there. If we look for it, you'll realize that our national sovereignty is under threat.
All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Okay, everybody. Joseph Gibson podcasting from Greensboro, North Carolina here. No, we didn't advertise the show. Well, I did actually the last show. I told you we were going to do a show Saturday night, but I don't really post. I need to start posting a little bit sooner so people don't have to jump so fast, especially the people that want to join in and talk. There's a few that have been following the show now for quite some time, and of course I'm going to bring them on and give them plenty of time to speak here tonight. But I need to start maybe promoting the show and getting set times again where people aren't, wondering when I'm going to do a show. I've been getting some emails about that, and that's happened, but we all got things going on in our lives. We live busy lives, but anyway, to the intro of that show, it's a new world order, and it doesn't matter what's going to happen, what John's going to bring on November 2nd, 2020. The new world order is going to advance. You're talking about a globalist idea here, a globalist idea that's been happening for thousands of years. It's not a new idea. It's a big idea, and it's happening. There are wars going on right now that you don't hear about. There are people dying. There are people suffering. They're putting poison in your food. They're chemically dumbing down the population. You have no rights. You are a slave. You have permission to go where you go. You get in your car and you start your car up and you drive to work, and you have permission to go where you go. Simple as that. You have no rights, and if you become a threat at all to these people, they will put you in a concrete box. You can pray to your God all you want, because the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to be sitting in a concrete box. Simple as that. Okay? It doesn't matter. You could pray all you want. You can get on your knees, and you could use your Second Amendment all you want. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get 11 million people, Mandela Khan. You're not going to get 11 million people. You'll be lucky if you get 11 to meet you at McDonald's for a cup of coffee. Even if you offer to pay, you'll be lucky if 6 show up. Okay? And, John, I know you're on the phone lines here. I'm going to give you plenty of time here to talk to. I know you're out there promoting the word about November 2nd, 2020. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Nothing's going to happen because there's no foundation. There's no plan. Nothing's going to happen. Simple as that. The New World Order is going to happen. This is a big idea. And these people are going to crash the economy. They're going to crush you. They're going to destroy you. And you will be a slave, just like I was just opening up with. And if you missed the intro, I'm sorry. But, yeah, you should have listened. But it's a big idea. It's a new world order. And now John and Mandela Khan, and if anyone else wants to cue in, you're more than welcome to. Press number 1. Yeah, you could tell your story, talk about what's happening in your life, or you have a story or something that you want me to go after here during the week. You know, we do shows where we call people and go after them. We've called Walmart. We've called Kamala Harris. We've called the White House. We've even called the White House. So, you know, go back in the archives. We've done it before. So all you got to do is, if you want to call in, go 657-383-0616, or if you don't feel comfortable calling in, you can always go into the chat room and be anonymous if you want to. We got the chat room, or you can just listen in via the internet like a lot of people do. And I'm hoping my friend God's Rainbow Ministries is out there. Maybe he'll comment on the show that we did together there with Mandela Khan a few nights ago. That would be great if he can join in. And of course, before I open up the phone lines, boycott Tony Gaga. Tony Gaga, fake Tone, get rid of Tone, kick him off Blog Talk. He will no longer be on Blog Talk very shortly. I assure you of that. I'm working very hard in getting Tony Gaga removed permanently from Blog Talk Radio or any other podcast on the internet, because we don't need his perversion, his sickness, his disgusting voice heard on the airwaves when we have more important things to discuss. We are in the midst of a revolution. And that's what you're preaching, John, right? We're in the midst of a revolution. That's what you're preaching, Mandela Khan. We're in the midst of a revolution. Well, we don't need to listen to idiots like Tony Gaga. Stupid, idiotic shows like that, or especially the ones that attack this show. So Tony, Tone, whatever the hell you want to call yourself today, I don't know, or you Ashley, or whatever fake names you come up with in the chat room, you want to slander me, attack me, call my cell phone at 3:30 in the morning. I don't care. Go right ahead. But you will be banned from Blog Talk Radio. I assure you of that. All right. Let's open up the phone lines here. First, of course, we're going to bring John on, and then Mandela Khan will let him say his piece. Everyone gets a chance here tonight. All you got to do is press number 1 one time, and everyone gets a chance. Of course, Mandela Khan, I'm hoping you bring your cohorts with you here tonight, the matriarch. We want to hear from different people from the matriarch, but he never brings them. I don't know why. I mean, very few ever come in. So anyway, all right, let's bring John on first. John, welcome to the podcast. John, the floor is yours.
Hey, how are we doing this evening? Good evening, everybody. Yeah, thanks for the wake-up call. Hey, it's going to happen, man. One way or another, we the people are going to unite. We're either going to unite in our mass graves, or we're going to unite standing, and we're going to find freedom, liberty, and justice in this world. One way or the other, it's going to happen. So, you know, you do your part, we go in the direction we go in. Everybody does their part. what we have now with this government kidnapping children, trafficking children, caging children, you know, I mean, even the kids in school, they're in cages now. Schools are now run like concentration camps. I mean, every child in this world right now is in danger. So, you know, you say it's not going to happen. You don't want to see it happen, maybe. I don't know. But it needs to happen. It really does. And France, North Korea, I don't know. I can't say North Korea. I don't know if they're having problems over there or not. But there's many countries out there that are having revolutions right now. 80% of the population is standing up and trying to fight back. But they don't have guns. They don't have a Second Amendment. They don't have the illusion of freedom. They actually have more freedom than we do, but they don't have the illusion of freedom. They know they're not free.
Well, you made up a key point there. All these countries around the world, like Hong Kong, Spain, Venezuela, all these countries that people are, you know, see, in America we live in this naive bubble, and we're paying attention to Facebook and stuff, and all that's censored. We know that's censored or filtered. We know that. It says it for you know, filtered comments. I see your comments get filtered. My comments get filtered. Mandela Cons does. Many of my friends does. We know that they get filtered. They get filtered through the Facebook proxies there that are advertisers, and what they do is they remove your comments from a lot of them, or what they do is they filter them so only the number of people see them. But anyway, but what you're saying about other countries not having the Second Amendment, I agree with you. They don't have the right to bear arms like we do here in America, and that's one thing we should cherish. Yes, the Second Amendment, but really the Second Amendment is so regulated right now. You know, I mean, I don't. Here in North Carolina, you can walk around with a gun on your side, nobody will bother you. But you go up to the state of Connecticut, you walk around in New York City, go to Washington D.C., and walk around with a gun on your side, you're gonna have 10 cops tackling you, and you're gonna be kidnapped and thrown in jail. You know, so so America is not so, and that's going to happen more and more all around the country as we get more and more of these dumbed down people and citizens that we have living in our society and our culture today, and we hear that through the nonsense that we hear even on this show. So, but I do agree with you there, John.
You know, the Second Amendment isn't about being able to carry a gun. It's about having the power to stop a corrupt government from influencing and hurting your life. You know, your need for freedom, liberty, justice, retaining it, being able to have the American dream. That's what the Second Amendment is about, not about being able to carry a gun. Virginia's passing laws right now. They're going to be a sanctuary Second Amendment city type thing, a state, which is kind of ridiculous. I started reading it this morning, and it triggered me. I did a live feed because it kind of got under my skin so bad that now they're turning the Second Amendment and militia into a government agency, basically. So that's not going to work out good for us. That's the end of the Second Amendment right there. They're writing it into where they're going to control the militia. Well, the militia is not about being controlled by government. It's about controlling the government. But now
the militia, John. Well, hang on now. The militia. Now, what is the militia? Now, you and I have different and all the callers, you're going to get a chance here to talk. Trust me. I will open up your phone lines. You'll get a chance. Just calm down. Take it easy. I know we got a lot of people on the phone line here tonight. Just take it easy. Just give us a few more minutes here. John, you're, first of all, the militia is there in case governmental was to become tyrannical, where it oppressed the people and the people were to rise up and gather and come together, or if societal means were to break down. For instance, the economy crashed, or like if you had a natural disaster like Hurricane Katrina, for instance, what happened down there, you would have militias form, and you'd have individual militias in communities where therefore they would reestablish, then reinstitute maybe even the Constitution again, or reestablish a new government. That's the form if that was to happen. It has never happened really, except through the Civil War. When the Civil War happened, but that was mainly divided between the North and the South, and there were reasons why that war was fought. It wasn't over slavery, folks, but it was, we won't need to get into that. But we have never seen those types of things happen in modern-day society today. So, therefore, the militia really is not under the control. There is really the militia really is like a ghost. It's the people within themselves, the people in their communities. That's what the militia is. The militia is an army. It's not a group of people that say, "Hey, we're the militia." It's just neighbors, friends, and people in the community or around in areas that are know each other, that believe in the Constitution and believe in America, for which it was originally supposed to be founded, which was a republic, which we are no longer a republic, but which it was originally intended. Now, do you disagree with me on that, or what's your take?
No, you're right. We, the people, are the militia. What you just said is right. But the militia doesn't form to help people. The militia forms to correct the course of government. It's when you're fed up of your governing body, when you've had enough tyranny, when you've had enough oppression. That's when the militia forms. And it's like you said, it's not a group. It's not an organization. It's all of us. When we unite, there's no such thing as the militia going to come and help anybody, because that person is the militia. If you think the militia is coming to help you, you are the militia. And if we don't stand together united, there is no militia. But when militia assembles, it's supposed to have a course of action, a well-regulated course of action, not start practicing and learning to kill. That's not about the militia. The militia is about correcting the course of government. You go,
okay.
You rise
all right,
up.
John. All right, John. Okay, we get your point of the militia, and Mandela Khan's going to come on and maybe disagree with you because he's from the matriarch, the People's Revolution, and he believes that everything is the European invaders. And the European invaders have destroyed everything. But what I want to do is we'll open up the phone lines, give everyone here a chance. Let's go down the line. We got plenty of time here, hour and 43 minutes. The next show, maybe I'll bring on some pastors here, some theologists again, and we'll try to analyze the problems that we're facing here in America and understand the times in which we live in today. I was kind of hoping maybe I can get Dr. Peter Ventura back on here soon, and maybe a few other people, history professors. Maybe I got a history professor out there in California that told me he'd be interested in coming on. Maybe that would be nice. Maybe we have a civil discussion on that. But let's open up the phone lines for the longest people that have been waiting the longest here. I know Mandela Khan, you really have, because I connect you first usually. But if you don't mind, Mandela Khan, I'm gonna take one caller before you, and then we'll move down the line here. 203-925-404. I see everybody here. Private caller. I see 323. Everyone, 323. You'll be actually. Let's take 323 first, and then I'll take Mandela Khan. 323. Go ahead. Oh, I must have stunned. I must have tricked them there. 323. Area code 323. I just hear nothing but background noise. All right, 323 dropped. Okay, maybe they had a bad connection. Oh my God, he's coming to me. I guess he dropped real quick. That's okay. You can call back in. 323. You can call back in. I think I know who that is, actually, 323. I don't know. I've got about 6 or 7 323s but I recognize the last 4 digits. I won't give those out because I do that for privacy reasons. But I think I know who that 323 was. Hopefully he'll call back in. Mandela Khan, I'm going to give you the floor here for a few minutes, and then we'll, of course, move down the line. And remember, Mandela Khan, you have other callers that are waiting. So please do the same amount of time or have the same amount of respect. And, I won't mute you, but I won't mute anyone but once somebody starts talking over someone else, I'm going to start muting people because I got a lot of complaints over people talking over each other. So we don't want to lose people just because of that. All right, here we go. Mandela Khan, go ahead. The floor is yours.
All right there. Listen, you don't have to qualify me in my voice, right? You don't have to do your Discord with me because I have the most patience and discipline and control until me and my network is attacked. And then I'm like a wolverine, a badger, or a mongoose. I will bite your head off and consume your tail. So for you, understand the times we live in today. With all the ingredients on the table, then we can make a rational decision. But if you're going to just be racist, bias, and prejudice in your view of how you see things, that's what you mean when you say this is not going to happen. And that's not going to happen because of your concept. And because of your concept, you ain't going to see no revolution as far as you're concerned. I mean, that's the way it works out. But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's why I'm here. On behalf of the Ethiopian matriarch and the total recall. Put that word in y'all's itinerary, recall. That's a legal tender. Also put in the executive order. That's a legal tender. Also put in the word exigency. That means when you are suffering in extreme circumstances, extreme measures must be put forth. Having said that, that means that whatever we've done in the past, we're going to have to do something different that we've never done before. And I don't want to hear no one say, well, we've already done that. No, we have not. That's why I'm here. The political term for the people's government, we are the government. The government is not the people, based on the crisis, hardship, state of emergency that everybody is suffering from. So we might have the Democrat, Republican Party, the Green Party, such and such, such, such. That's the political wing of those who's trying to influence the constituents. From Class Action 567, we have the political term correctly that the committee of one on behalf of the committee of the whole. I'm one person, and I know that ain't nothing going to happen without the people. So I'm a revolutionary, but the people must take part in a revolution. They don't have to be a hardcore revolutionary tactician like me, theoretician like me. No. What they have to do is recognize the sign of times in which we live, and if they are not getting the most access to communications, where we're all being censored, as y'all say, the most access to water, food, clothing, shelter, healthcare, protection, education, and not indoctrination, then you don't have no government for other by the people. That's why I say from Maine to Florida, Washington State to California.
So do you mean access? Hang on, Mandela Con, I just want to let you know the other callers are 404, you're next, and then 925, you're after 404. So don't hang up or you'll lose your turn because we got about 7 others before you guys. I know you guys have been waiting. But Mandela Con, before I interject, what do you mean by access? Do you mean that we have access to achieve the health care and
no.
have
I'll
access to the resources? I don't understand what you mean.
From Maine to Florida, Washington State to California, UK, University of Kentucky, from the Congo to the Bongo, the people do not have a government. They have tyrants who have taken control through monopoly, corruption, and greed, using the people's blood, sweat, and tear equity, and sucking out the resources from Mother Earth and putting it into a criteria from the elite on down to the so-called middle class, which is 17%, and then 80% of the workers and poor peasants, no matter if they're black, brown, red, yellow, and white, old, young, gay, stated like they're catching hell from their own tyrannical government. Having said that, it's up to each and every person to see, are they getting the best bang for their buck? Taxation without representation is where we are. We know that from where I sit, my taxes is being used to destroy me and my family. We know that where we sit, all, as you call them, rule of law, this is not no rule of law. This is rule without regard for law. The only way that you can have a law is when the people are inclusive in the decision-making processes. And when you go through the local, county, city, state, and federal municipalities, and they're from city council to the state legislature.
Well, the people are, though. But Mandela Con, according to the system, now the people do have a right to vote. You have a right to choose who you want to be in charge, right?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
that's what they say. I mean.
Okay, that's what you say. But you and I both know from where I sit, like I said the other night, when you say the 13th, 14th Amendment, slavery shall be abolished except in the form of servitude after being duly convicted. Do you know that over half of African or indigenous people are unqualified because of the so-called 13th and 14th Amendment, which means that slavery has been perfected. Slavery has never been abolished, okay? So we're looking at a whole plethora of things here that's not being considered, and this is where pain comes in. I know pain is not painless. When you want change, you're going to have some pain, and it's going to usually be pain for the elite, the ruling class. The people now are suffering, 80%, the workers and poor peasants. The only thing they have to do is come together as one. We have 1,000 different tribes, 1,000 different cliques, and 1,000 different gangs, but only one people. So my assignment is to bring them people.
All right, Mendelcon, I'll let you get on that with the one people. I want to get back to that to the one people. Who are the really one people? I mean, obviously, you know, with tribes, if we're going to go tribalism, obviously what the one people would be, the superior people would be, obviously, you know, would be the European people, because they're the ones that came over here and invented everything that we're fighting over here today, and that everyone wants to advance at and have of. So you can't deny that. The European people, whether you hate them or not, the European people have really invented everything that, you know, what we have here today. I mean, you know, you can't.
Okay.
You're not going to go to Congo. You're not going to go to. Hang on. You're not going to go to Congo and see a Volkswagen factory. Okay. You're not going to go to South Africa. You're not going to go to Nigeria and see an aluminum factory or a steel factory, right? So I'm just saying now. Now let's be truthful to each other. Let's be truthful now. And this is what you're talking about.
Okay.
They have power and control over all these commodities that really belong to those people, and they've really tricked you and have achieved control over those commodities. And I want to get back to that conversation, because that's what we're getting at here. And you said that yourself, the European invaders, right? That's what you said.
Let me tell you this. There's no ventriloquist or third party. Let me tell you this. Here's what I say. And that lie you just told, I have to refute. There is nothing that the illegal alien European invader immigrants, and don't think that I'm saying some bad words, because you're the ones the most illegal on the planet. You invented nothing. You created nothing but weapons of mass destruction. Germ biological.
Well, they invented the automobile. Well, yes. Ford invented the automobile, and you're enjoying the automobile. I'm sure you drive a car, right? Well, not true. What do you mean? Who invented the automobile then? Come on. You know, and I don't want to hear. Zimbabwe from Congo invented the light bulb, because that's not true either. You know, come on. Let's talk back. Come on, Mandela.
I'm gonna rest that case right here.
All right, rest the case right there. We'll go on. We'll move on to
I'm going to say this in truth. You're distracting, because you represent the Confederate flag of the Bible and God and country, right? I am in total opposition to that.
The Confederate flag for individual sovereignty and the rights of the people to be who they are, what they believe, as long as they don't hurt anyone else or harm anyone else. I represent the Constitution, because I believe that's the second greatest document ever written, other than the King James Bible. Yes, you're absolutely correct.
Okay. Now that's your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs. And I'm telling you that there's never been a book or a story. There's never been a book or a story written on how we got free. I'm the author of that story, and those who want to be.
I'm the publisher. I published nothing. Anyway, Mendelcon, let's move on to other callers. I'll keep you on the line. Let's move on to other callers. I've been promising them for a while. Let's go to 404 first. Go ahead. 404. You've been listening to this dialogue. Do you have something interesting to add or something new?
Oh, yeah. I have a whole lot interesting and new. Yeah, it's your man, Dr. Hawkins. It's been a long time.
Oh, my Lord, Dr. Hawkins, I have not heard from you in a long time. My goodness, I was wondering about you, and I was thinking about your grandmother there that you were telling me who's 104 years old. How's she doing, by the way?
She's actually still kicking. She's doing well. Thank you.
Well, good. Amen to that. Wow, that's great. Her testimony would be awesome. Did she tell all these people where to go and how to get there?
Oh, man.
That's a 104-year-old black woman, folks.
Actually, she's 106 now, guys.
Oh, my God, it's been that long.
Yeah, she was 105 when we spoke. But you know, I want to say peace to the God Mendelcon, and look, I got to tell y'all something. I won't get into who debated or who invented what, because a lot of the best inventors in this country's history were assassinated. So if we're going to be all the way honest, let's be 110% honest. Okay, I'm surprised that they didn't kill Tesla too, who was the greatest European inventor. Okay? Now, I will say this, though. Guys, there's a lot more to this situation involving Trump's impeachment than most of the civilians in America know. I will say this, and I know this is going to scare the hell out of a lot of black folk, all right? But you shouldn't be scared. You should just do some damn research and listen to what I'm about to tell you. Scares the shit out of me. And Mandela Khan, you know my position, as far as speaking truth to power. I'll never bend on that at all. Now, I will tell y'all something else, though. I'm old enough to remember the 1980s very vividly. And I remember when Donald Trump was everywhere. I remember when all black celebrities loved Trump, the 80s. The 90s. I remember when he was on Wu-Tang Clan's album, Method Man's album.
That's right.
Biggie
Oh, my Lord,
Puff's
that's right.
album.
You're absolutely correct. Wow.
I remember all that shit, okay? And you can Google it or YouTube it and listen to the albums yourself. But then all of a sudden when he started winning, they changed the narrative and called the man a racist. Now, I'm not too quick to throw around that term racist because, again, you got to be careful with that. I mean, especially if you don't really know history the way that you think that you do. Now, I said all that to say this here. You want to know the real reason that some people in the know are saying that they're trying to get rid of Trump? And it might make sense to you, but I'll tell you like this. I'm a federal contractor, okay? I get to see the things that most civilians will never see. I get to sell things to the government that most people wouldn't even believe. And I see how they have been preparing. They're preparing for something. And there's only so much that I can say right now, but I hope that y'all are listening with the other you. Listen to me closely. The news media is not covering this. For the first time in America's history, the federal government spent over $10 trillion with local businesses or businesses here in America. $10 trillion. Now, this doesn't include the state spending or what the cities are spending. Okay? This is just the federal government by itself, which is the biggest spender on the planet. A lot of us don't realize almost $3 trillion of those dollars are set aside for black businesses. But you know what the problem is? We're too busy dick measuring, pardon my French, and pointing fingers that we're not even networking and we're not going after the real money while it's out there. We're listening to the media and their bull. And they're basically controlling your mind, man. They really are. Let's just be all the way real.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct, Dr. Hawkins. You're absolutely
mind
correct.
Control, man.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, look, all I'm saying is this. We don't know if they're going to spend $10 trillion with American businesses next year. See, that upset a lot of people when Trump did that, because a lot of companies want to outsource. They want to outsource to China and India and the Philippines and all that crap where they can get cheap labor. So, of course, they're going to be mad. Of course, they're going to control the media with their big bucks and spin the narrative. If you got a guy that's saying, you know what, we're going to end all that bull. We're going to boost our own economy. We're going to give jobs to the little guys and all this stuff. And again, I know how it sounds, man, if you don't do any research. But again, I'm a federal contractor, Jack. And if I told you half the stuff that I've been selling FEMA, Homeland Security, and some of these other agencies right now, the DOJ is my biggest customer. I'm even selling to the United Nations. Say what you want. But I've seen a lot of things that's going on, man. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't wake up and start looking at the situation for what it is, Donald Trump is going to be the last damn thing that you got to worry about. Right?
That's
because
right. Amen to that. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
There were some other people.
Yeah.
There were some other people that you better worry about, and they're the ones trying to get rid of them. But anyhow, I digress. So let me get out of here. I'll continue to listen. Great show, guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dr. Hawkins. hang on, Dr. Hawkins, hang on a second, John. I'll let you converse with Dr. Hawkins for a second. Hang on. I want to let all the other callers. 925, you're next. Then 336. I see 336, of course, and then a bunch of private numbers. But I'm skeptical on private numbers, as always, because of the crank callers, and we don't have time for that. Because we need to understand the times in which we live in today. John, if you want to converse with Dr. Hawkins real quick, go ahead.
Look, you're a contractor. You're dealing with what they're planning. You see what they're planning by what they're doing. But yet you're selling out this and everybody in the world for money today, which when they execute their plan, your money's going to be worthless. Your life is worthless, but you're still selling it out for money today. That is a problem with this country, and you're promoting people to do the same thing. Instead of uniting and stopping what they're planning, which is what I'm trying to do, cut them off at the pass, get the threat off our backs, bring an end to it. You're promoting that people make a little profit today so that we can die tomorrow. Go ahead.
All right. So
you don't know what I'm promoting.
Dr.
Obviously, you took everything that I said and you contorted it and twisted, and you're speaking ass backwards. You have no idea what I'm really telling the people, but the people like Mandelicon and some of the others, they feel what I'm saying. So let me put it in bite-sized bits of information so maybe you can absorb that. All right, I'll put it as simply as I can. First and foremost, no matter how you plan on preparing, you're going to need funding to do that, genius. You're going to need funding to do that. You're going to need funding to build your communities and sustain your community, man. All right? So stop spitting this BS narrative to the black community trying to tell us that we shouldn't get any money. You've been doing that long enough, and that's why we're ill-prepared.
All right, don't interrupt them, John. Don't interrupt them. Don't interrupt them.
We're not falling for that democratic BS anymore, man. Y'all kept us on the plantation long enough. Shit, man, you don't think I read Frederick Douglass? Frederick Douglass been warning us about that kind of stuff, man. Listen, no disrespect, but if you think that I'm selling out for money, I tell you what you do. How about you astral project tonight and you meet me and you see where my soul is at, but you can't astral project because you're basic. You're trapped with your intellect. Don't speak to me about selling out or selling soul when you don't even have control of your subconscious mind. You don't know who the F you're talking to, man. So I tell you what, man, stay in your lane.
Dr. Hawkins, hang on. Dr. Hawkins, hang on, Dr. Hawkins. Let me sum that up real quick. John, first of all, I think you two may actually converse pretty good together. I think you may be getting off on the wrong foot. John's new to the program. He's only been here for a few months. Dr. Hawkins has been here for quite some time. He's been missing for quite some time, actually. I don't know where he was. But I know Dr. Hawkins. I know what he represents. And trust me, this is a very good person, a very good individual, and he understands the government and the system as the way we're being attacked here as individuals. So he's not a bad guy. Okay, I want to let you know that.
The first thing is I wasn't meaning to attack him. He took it as an attack and he went defensive.
That's fine. That's fine, John. That's fine, John.
The first thing is
you did attack me. Whenever you try to tell someone what they're thinking, that is an attack.
All right, guys, hang on, John, real quick, make your point, and then I need to give other callers their time, please. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to explain it again the way I've explained it many times. Okay, the money you think you need, or what keep you enslaved. You say you're fighting for the freedom of your people, but you're demanding the enslavement chains on your people. So. Yeah, take it through. I do have a mind that works, and I project. I have done it many times in my life. Okay. That is all irrelevant crap happening in the real realm today. I'm not kidding with you. Yeah,
all right, guys. All right,
you keep fighting.
All right, no, guys. Let's not interject. Let's not interject over each other because we have too many callers on the line to interrupt each other. John, make your point, please. Go ahead.
I'm to fight for the rights of your people, and keep enchaining them. And keep giving them chains to enslave them and say, this is where your freedom is going to be. Here's the chains. Put them on. This is your freedom. Money. Put them on. Look for that money. You're going to need money. Be a slave. Be chained up. Be controlled by the monetary system. Be controlled by this
well, there has to be a monetary system, John, and that's all I'm saying.
That is what.
Give away all of your money right now, Mr. White Man. Give away all of your money right now since you don't need it. Since you won't need it to prepare, to buy ammunition, to buy food, to buy the filtration systems, to buy a house with a bunker, all that stuff. Give away all your monetary funding, man. Who do you think you're fooling, man?
Okay, all right. Hang on. All right, John.
Joe, stop interrupting, Joe. Joe, stop interrupting. Can you imagine a world without money? Can you imagine a world where we all...
It'd be chaos. It'd be chaos, John.
Okay,
because there has to be a bartering system.
No, there has to be a bartering system. You know what?
Sure there does. Every civilization, John, every civilization has had a bartering system.
In one form or another, gold coins, silver, some of them straight up traded food, you know. I mean, come on, man.
There's a
days of enslavement, don't take them away from me. I've got to be a slave. Do not take it away from me. That's all you people talk. Hey, y'all have a nice day. I'm not going to waste my time with your mentality, people. Y'all have a nice night. Bye.
Well, John, why are you running away? John, why are you running away from the conversation? See, John runs away from the conversation, you see? Obviously,
that's right.
Those are the cuckoo jobs. Those are the cuckoo jobs that are going to be out there when the economy collapses. And those are the people we're going to have to deal with. You see, he runs away from the conversation, hangs up, and runs away. We're here having an intellectual conversation, and immediately, as soon as someone starts putting it to him, he runs away, and now he's going to go to his Facebook and do a watch party and say, this guy Joe Gibson, he did this to me again, you know. And the thing of it is, John, all you have to do is hang around and listen to what everyone else has to say. You know, let's understand the times in which we live in today. Look, there's time, folks. We can wake up. We can wake up.
That's right.
Are we not in control of our own destiny and our own times in which we live in today? Are we not as a people? How can we, though, when you get people like John, Dr. Hawkins, who just ran away and hung up? He ran away and hung up.
Well, I tell you why. I tell you why. Because he don't really believe what he's saying.
I know. He's confused.
He really don't believe what he's saying. And that's why a grown man that stands on his conviction. Now, listen, I've been listening to the show, y'all, for a while. I've been out. I haven't been commenting, but I've been listening to the shows, you know, and I noticed something. You know, a lot of times you guys have differences of opinion with Mandela Con, but you know what? Y'all still talk things out civilly. And that's what manhood is. See, and a lot of people don't have that in them.
If I may,
you're absolutely correct.
Let me just say this quickly because I'm the most scrutinized voice on the interconnected society.
And 925, real quick, 925, you're after MandelaCon. I just want to let you know that, 925. That's 336. Go ahead.
And Dr. Hawkins, I appreciate you rejoining us. And remember, when we first connected, how I told you and others that when it comes to this interconnected society, Blog Talk Radio, Facebook, I'm the king of all kings because my voice will get to your mind and body and spirit and you'll come. It's so unfortunate that this guy, John, who I call Jekyll, Joe is Heckle. You know, like I call Joe is the Lone Ranger. John was Tano. Joe is Batman. John is Robin. He just appeared on the scene just a few months ago. But what I noticed about him, I get called niggas, coons, gorillas, and the African women, you know, the women that we had on here with us, Dr. Hawkins, you know, Empress Michelle, Oxida, they've been called bitches. They've been called bitches in this sector. While people read the Bible, they say, well, in John 14:15, such and such, shut up, nigga, Mandela Khan. That bitch, Oxida, that bitch, Empress Michelle. Here's where we got them. When truth comes, falsehood vanishes. And Joe,
right.
3 years, 7 years with Tyrone Pinocchio Thompson of Talk Real Solution, as I told him the other night, You don't have no solution. You under the red, white, and blue under Uncle Scam, and you here to destroy black people. So I'm saying that to say because Dr. Hawkins came in tonight that, hey, look, there ain't no thin-skinned people here.
All right, Mendoza. All right, I do got so many callers here on the line here, and you're absolutely right about your what you said about John there, and I just sent him a private message right there. I'm not very happy at what he just did. I mean, he comes onto the podcast, brings his forum, what he wants. He's talking about November 2nd, 2020, the Second Amendment's going to come alive, and they're going to arrest the government, and yet he hangs up on Dr. Hawkins. I mean, how are here we are. We're in chaos, and we're fighting with each other.
Because you can pretend to be anything you want to be until what you pretend to be shows up. And I showed up.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
And believe me,
you're right.
none of us are right until we
Let's
get
bring on,
hang on.
Let's bring on 925.
Including me.
Mendoza.
I'm not even right.
All right, Mendoza, let's bring on 925. I've been promising you, hopefully you got something you want to add to the podcast. 925.
Greetings. This is Akshita Veda, and I just want to start off by asking the question, can you openly support a black community coming together in unity? And why I ask this question is because we come to the table to discuss our freedom, justice, and total independence, and the only group of people who are not in correlation with one another is the so-on and so-called black community. This is a people who's MIA in the total trajectory of where we go from here, which needs to take position in which we continue to move forward. So the message is, what are you willing to do to help the revolution of people standing up for freedom, which is a birthright? Excuse me. This is a question to answer, personally for yourself. Like, nobody has to agree with you. This is just something you need to ask yourself. What are you willing to do to help the revolution of people standing up for freedom? Now, that doesn't include anything about your race. That doesn't include anything about your gender. That doesn't include anything about your religious preference. That's simply a question to ask yourself. And so why I asked the question, can you openly support a black community, is because every people, I'll say, has the right to organize themselves and establish a seat at the table for changes to be made that will incorporate their community. And if the so-on and so-called black people are not present at that table, we continue to have, we continue to have senseless conversations about,
Archibald, I think the point you're trying to make is,
no,
here,
you can't
to
say
clarify
what the point you think I'm trying to make. You
well,
can ask me to clarify.
Hang on. From what you just said.
Let me be clear, because you can't speak for me.
Hang on. I'm not speaking for you. What I'm doing is I'm taking a perception of what you just said and saying that what you're trying to say is that a lot of people out there are assuming what they shouldn't assume, is therefore that a lot of other people out there have voices that need to be heard and they're not being heard. So therefore, collectively as one people, how can we unify everyone together as to one voice and have one voice where we can unify together? All right. Did I not say it correctly or not?
Yes, with respect of person. Persons respect other persons. And as long as you are personally responsible for yourself, then you should be in agreement with the fact that we are not free right now as a people. We are in a state of emergency, and this state of emergency leads us to the exigency of Class Action 567. And this is also a concept that the people need to grasp hold of very quickly here.
Yeah, and I want to Archibald, I just want to let all the callers know. I want you to finish, but I want to let all other callers know you'll get a chance. I see everyone that's on the line here. I know there's about 10 of you that are still there. 912-323. I see you. So just let Archiveda finish, and 336, you're next. Go ahead, Archiveda. Go ahead, finish your point, please.
Okay, I won't be long, but Class Action 567 is the people's revolution. It's our unification will call us to lay down our differences so we can make a difference. You know, we're so busy caught up on the separation and division factor that we cannot come together so we can therefore multiply and implement a plan and support the people is what the support of the people is needed. So we are in the total recall of freedom, justice, and total independence for all people, and we need to awaken to this, and so on and so forth. Call yourself Black, Moor, Hebrew Israelite, whatever you want to classify yourself as. The point is that we all need to reclassify ourselves and stop arguing about declassifications and move forward so we can be reminded that we can be used based on our skills and abilities, you know, and become members of a moving vehicle to get where we need to be. And so we have to free ourselves from mental captivity, and this is where we free our minds to be free thinkers in a free dome, which is the concept I bring straight to you from my home. And so no person is more superior than another person. Persons must be in respect of persons. So as long as you're standing on your square and you know who you are, you don't have to fight about a declassification. It's time to rise above all of that. It's elevation and ascension time in the mind, the body, and the soul. We ain't going to fold this time. And so we as a people need to get it together and stop the division and come together. And that's all I want to say right now.
All right. Well, all right. Thank you very much, Archiveda. Thank you very much. I'll allow you to mute yourself. I don't like to mute people. As promised, 336, you're next. And we got a lot of people on the phone line here tonight. And 323, I'm going to bring you on. And then 912. Then I got a bunch of private callers, but I don't know about those private callers. I mean, I just really don't know. I mean, what they do is they take away from the subject of the podcast. They really turn it into nonsense. So anyway, 336, go ahead. You go ahead. Take a couple minutes. You got the floor. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Hawkins too. I thought I was the only one that could get John that damn mad, but good job on that one. He exploded, didn't he? And I guarantee he's on his Facebook page right now, chain smoking cigars, talking about something. That's what he normally does when he gets mad. But, you know, you said a lot of truth, too. You know, that's what a lot of people don't realize. You see them, you know, calling Donald Trump racist and everything else like that. I mean, whether the guy is or not, we don't know. But, you know, I mean, have you ever been so racist you got an award from Rosa Parks and Muhammad Ali for contributing so much to inner black youths? I mean, he actually received an award for that. I mean, you know, he's dated a black woman. You know, he upgraded Martin Luther King's birthplace to a national historic park. Does this sound like someone that's racist? So don't give me that race. Like you said, there's something else going on. And, you know, and until we start digging around to find out, we're not going to know. It's just going to keep continuing. And, you know, 80s and 90s and even into the 2000s, like you said, the Democrats loved Trump. Oprah Winfrey begged him to run for president. Hillary Clinton wanted him to run for president. Said that's the kind of leadership this country needs. Until he says, I think I'm going to run as a Republican. Then all hell broke loose. So, you know, and it doesn't matter. He's a Democrat one day, Republican the next day. That's just a label. We know what he's about and what he's done his whole life. So, I mean, you know, but that's what everybody in this country was wanting, a non-career politician, and that's what we got, and look at what's happening. I don't give a shit that he tweets out some stupid, ignorant crap. As long as he gets the job done and he's making things better. And I really believe he is, from what I've seen. But yeah, that was a good job. I still ain't got my Berkey water filter. I know we talked about that last time he was on, I think. I'm going to go grab me one, though, sooner or later. I really like the way they work. But good evening, Mr. Mandela Khan. I've been listening for a while now, and I would say good evening to John, but he ran away. Maybe he's one of them, you know, he's got that big long goatee, like a huge billy goat. Maybe he's one of the fainting goats, and maybe Hockey slapped you loud and passed out.
We don't need
I was just making a joke. I'm not going to insult him.
Yeah, well, but, we don't need to criticize him. He could be listening still, so we don't need to criticize him.
Yeah, I know. We hope so. I mean,
John,
so. Everyone's entitled. everyone's entitled to their own opinions and beliefs, and he certainly is. Just
well,
like
they're
Mandela
entitled
Khan,
to their own
Shabaka,
opinions and beliefs, but at the same time, you have to take responsibility for your opinions and beliefs, because those reflections review upon the community and your neighborhood and your family and the people that surround you. So therefore, we should have some sort of responsibility, you know?
Yeah, and because you believe it's factual doesn't mean it's factual. If I seen a cow fly one day, I say, oh, cows can fly. And that's a fact because I've seen one fly once. Well, he was on an airplane. It doesn't mean cows can fly, but it's you gotta read between the lines what people are saying too. It's like you hear Shabaka.
You have to show. Hang on. You have to show evidence. If you make a statement of something to be fact or true, you have to show evidence. What do you have to show when you show evidence? Dr. Hawkins would agree with me on this, and I'm sure anyone else would. You have to show historical. You have to show physical. And you have to show some sort of manufactured physical evidence that proves it to be true that it actually happened or occurred. It's very simple. I mean, you just can't claim I saw a cow fly and it's true, like you're saying hypothetically here. You have
getting back to the government and government
something.
Regulations, which John is completely against and wants to abolish. You know how many people would die because such and such said they had a cure for this disease and they drank turpentine or something? That's why they went to the store and bought it or traded for it. That's why there's certain government regulations to regulate things. Now, are they a little too damn strict? Oh, probably, and it costs too much damn money too.
Well, when it comes to government regulations. Yeah, when it comes to government regulations, look, I'm glad you have some sort of regulation when it comes to flying an airplane. You know what? I don't want to get on a jet plane and find out the freaking pilot's smoking crack or he's high on heroin. I do want someone overseeing what that pilot's doing. Or come on, what it is though, basically, is it's called common sense and common law. You get back to common law and common sense.
Exactly, and you have to have some type of bartering system, like you said. Otherwise, I know me and John got into it about this before. Otherwise, people ain't going to do nothing. If everything is given to you for free, it's not human instinct. Oh, yes, it is. If you're going to give me everything I want, I'm going to sit my fat ass at home and watch TV all day. And if I want a car that's better than yours,
well,
hey,
you won't be able to watch TV
because
nobody's getting paid to be actors no more because there's no bartering system.
You won't watch TV because the FCC. Exactly, because the FCC won't exist no more neither. And that's another whole touchy subject. I know Mandela Khan gets on about the FCC, but without them putting some restrictions out there, we could get cooked from our neighbor and not even know it. Microwave ovens and everything else. You got to have some type of restrictions, and someone has to oversee that. Is government too large? Oh, hell yeah, it's way too damn big. But, it's up to us to change that. Now, swearing you're going to go up there on November, 2020, and take back the government, you go up there with that kind of attitude. The only thing you're taking back is your body in a body bag, because that's what's going to happen to you, because you've already threatened them. I mean, you don't communicate threats a year before you go do it.
Hey, Joe, and Dr. Leroy and Dr. Hawkins, let me just make a little insurgent here on behalf of John.
Real quick, because then I want to get to 323. That's been waiting, 912, and then 612. Go ahead.
Please, to all the callers who heard my voice, push 1 if you never spoke inside of understanding times, which we did, because it's a heavy, heavy burden, and the more hands on it, like the load. I'm not right. Nobody's right until we get freedom, justice, total, and independence. Let me make a case for this. Mother Earth produces all of the commodities for the human family, and she don't charge you a penny or $100 bill in defense of John. Also, water, the number one commodity that's a weapon against Africa, Latin America, Haiti, what have you. Water is the number one weapon. If you can't pay for it, then you don't get none. But the fact is that most of us are drinking some of the most polluted water, and our tax dollars are being used to germ, biological, chemical, or warfare attack us. What I'm saying is that John is right when it comes to a government providing the basic necessities for people to keep them stable. Without water, food, clothing, shelter, health care, protection, education, and not indoctrination, you don't have a government. So John technically is right. So in slavery.
Well, no. All right, we'll get into
Hold on. Let me finish this.
Hang on. Come on, real quick, because I got a bunch of callers. Come on.
Okay, for black people, let me finish this. If we used a penny or $100 bill, a vote, prayed, or went to school for slavery and oppression, I'll chop my own head off and cut my own tongue out. But if we did not use a penny, a $100 bill, did not vote, pray, or go to school to have our birthrights encroached upon by a minority group of people who uses our resources and commodities to give themselves affluence and abundance under capitalism based on imperialism. So capitalism got born raping my mother, my grandmother, grandfather, great-grandfather. And I'll be damned if people
make your point. All right. Okay, Mandela Khan. All right, okay. I don't want to have to mute you here. Okay. All right, we've got a bunch of callers here on the phone line. Let everyone else join in here, bring their opinions, because we got still a whole hour left here of the podcast. There's a bunch of people here. I'm sure they'll take up all the time. But let everyone else get a voice here, maybe some new people. We'll see what happens. Let's go to 323, and then 912, then 612. Go ahead, 323. Go ahead. You're unmuted.
Yeah, what's going on, Joe? Yeah, I had a couple of your cronies try to sabotage my podcast last night, but they got humiliated and degraded with truth. But however, my position is still not changed, man. I still advocate and always will that people on the Pan-African sense become independent of your, how should I say, unique system or way of doing things, and how selective the history of this nation is very, very prominent in remembering certain things and choosing to forget certain things. And I still advocate that my people become self-sufficient, controlling their own sources of land, labor, commerce, risk management,
Separatism. You want your people. Your people are who, though? But when you say your people,
you're nothing to unify with.
No, Shabaka, hang on. Who are your people? Who are your people? I guess I have, but you don't send me the information. You don't give me any notice.
I said, man, you already know.
You can't tell me 60 minutes before the show. All right, look. I'll be more than happy to be a guest on your. I'll be more than schedule a program right now live on my show, and I'll be there. Tell me when you want to do a show, and you and I will do a one-on-one. What do you want to do right now? Come on.
Okay,
schedule it right now.
Go ahead and inbox you. Okay, no. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and inbox you, man, and I'll put it up there on your wall. Okay,
that's fine. You do that. Very good.
Like I said,
now my question is this: who are your people? Who are your people? Who are your people that you want to be independent? But I have many callers on the phone line here tonight, Shabaka.
Okay,
Shabaka, you're a podcast host. You should know. Shabaka, you should know. You have to speak to your audience. Who are my audience out here? Don't know.
Joe, are you gonna quit? Are you gonna keep cutting me off? Okay.
I'm trying to ask you a question.
Okay, the name of the show is Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, and we deal with the history of our people, of melanated people, black people, from the beginning of time to 10 minutes ago. Okay, definitely take a look at our like page out there where you'll find our upcoming episodes when we go into pre-production and also to the actual production, and then we announce the actual show on that. And we had a couple of individuals from your show called in last night. We appreciate that.
Did they say they were from my show? Hang on. Did they say they were from my show? Did they say they were?
No. What I'm saying is,
no. Answer the question, please. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Did they? No. Did they say? They said they were from Understanding the Times in Which We Live in Today, Joseph Gibson, and they attacked your show. Is that what basically what they said?
Okay, let me put it to you like this way. I first got acquainted with them on your platform, okay? And they called up my show last night. They got educated. They didn't like the truth. In fact, we even had a couple of them that we had to mute out. Well, I recognize the voices, when I hear them.
You recognize the voices. Come on, Shabaka. You know damn well that people can disguise their voices when they call into my show.
Tell you what. Why don't you do this? Why don't you go to the playback, man? Why don't you go to the archive of it?
I'll tell you what, you can post it in my chat room right now, live on my show. You can post it on my Facebook. I'll be more than happy. I listened to the show with you and MandelaCon where I criticized MandelaCon for not notifying me there was supposed to be a show with you and I. But we'll be more than happy to do a one-on-one discussion, but we can't have a shouting match, that's for sure. You know, we have to have a yield match where we make a point, I yield to you, you yield to me. And I guarantee you, if you want to have a topic or a discussion that you want to talk about, excuse me, everyone, because I haven't muted anybody, but I'll mute everybody if that's what I got to do. We'll do a one-on-one topic on whatever topic you want to talk about. You want to talk about the slave trade? You want to talk about U.S. history, world history? Whatever topic you want to talk about, you post it on my wall, Shabaka. I'll be more than happy to come on your podcast, and you can put it out there, and we'll do a one-on-one, and I'm sure a lot of people on this podcast will be interested in hearing it also. And I'll invite a lot of pastors and theologians to listen also. Okay? So Shabaka, I've got many other callers. What's your point here
right
tonight?
now. Okay, well, first of all, those pastors and what have you, man, those guys on my show are going to be extremely limited because a couple of them got disrespectful, and I just muted them out, you know, and I told them what the ground rules were, and they didn't listen to me, so they got muted out, you know. So, but I do appreciate you, you know, having me on my show, accepting my calls and what have you. And currently, as I'm stating here, in these contemporary times, our youth, black youth, must get up out of the public indoctrination center, so therefore they'll learn a complete new different set of norms and values away from the public indoctrination centers that is out there to degrade them and get them prepped for the
I agree with that.
Prison pipeline. As a matter of fact, I think that individual right there had called on my show last night.
No.
My
name is Dr.
Shabaka.
Hawkins.
Yeah, Dr. Hawkins, would you like to converse with Shabaka here? You two converse with each other. Now, Shabaka, let Dr. Hawkins converse with you, and you two, please don't talk over each other. Go ahead. I'd like to hear this exchange. Because Dr. Hawkins is a very well-educated, like you like to call Shabaka, a black man. I call him an individual, a human being. That's what I call him. I don't label him as a black man. I label him as somebody I know as
that's
a
what I
human
am,
being.
and that's what I was born as,
Well,
and that's
that's
what I
fine.
would die
That's
as.
fine. That's fine. You label yourself that way. You go right ahead. But let Dr. Hawkins go ahead, Dr. Hawkins.
It's a statement of fact.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
Dr. Hawkins, you two converse for a couple minutes.
You know,
Dr. Hawkins, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, look, I'll say it like this here. We all know that the school system is completely jacked up, you know.
Oh, it's downright fucked up. Let's call it what it is. It's downright fucked up.
All right,
really
Shabaka, please.
Yeah,
but Shabaka, come on
really
now.
is.
I'm laying some rules down here. Shabaka, I got to lay down rules too. Let him finish his point and you interact, please. You can't talk over each other. It won't work. It just won't work. Please. You know that, Shabaka. You do a podcast. You know that. Come on. Let Dr. Hawkins finish.
And we invited you on there too, Joe. Go ahead,
I know that.
Yo, look, all I'm saying is that we need to be completely honest across the board about the indoctrination, about the state of the water. Now, MandelaCon, I mean, come on. Who owns the only black-owned commercial and industrial water purification company in America? I do. Okay, so that guy talking about water, I didn't hear him say jack about water. You can't miss me with the water. Look, I agree as far as the water situation, the air situation, the food situation, but we got to start telling the truth to these babies, man. All this half-truth and saying things on a whim just because they sound nice or they fit a particular agenda or whatnot, we need to do away with that. We need to start telling the whole damn. Well, I'll put it to you like this. How the hell are black youth supposed to respect us when we're not telling them the whole truth about racism, when we're not telling them the whole truth about racism as an institution, when we're not preparing them to deal with people who are what I would consider undercover racist. You know, those that are in the pulpit, those that are in judiciary clothing, those that are in the hospital practicing medical apartheid and politics and the police uniform and so on and so forth. So for me...
And 612, I just want to let 612, you're next after these two converse, please. 612, you're after these two. Go ahead, Dr. Hawkins. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'll keep it short. But I talk to the youth all the time. I talk to them all the time, man. And when you peel back the layers, they're scared. They're really scared because they don't know what. Well, no. I'm not saying that they're afraid of the knowledge. I'm simply saying that they're afraid because no one's preparing them to deal with these types of people. Now, look, I'll say it like this here. Mm-hmm. I don't know and I don't care if Trump is racist or not. What I know is that we're going to need funding to build our communities. And if we would have played our cards right, we could have doubled our collective spending power within the next or the last year and a half. Here's what that means. The media didn't cover this, and I can prove this. There's a government website called usspending.gov. Okay, usspending.gov. And there you can track all of the federal contracts that have gone to black businesses. Now, you're going to find something amazing on that site. But what I'll say in short is this. Now, we had a set-aside of $166 billion last year for black-owned businesses. The numbers, if you just Google and do frivolous little research, those numbers won't reflect that, and the media damn sure is not going to tell us this. But we had $166 billion set-aside for small black businesses last year. Here's the problem. Since we don't network the way that we're supposed to. We give a lot of lip service to networking and building the black community, rebuilding Black Wall Street and all this stuff. The problem, again, a deeper problem, is that we're not building actual systems. We're just consuming technology. But how many of us are actually inventors and building things? You see what I mean? So we should be having some type of conferences and forums where we're actually demonstrating this togetherness so the youth can see that. And because we didn't do this last year, black people, black businesses, we only got 32.3 of those billion that was set aside for us. So that means over $130 billion was given to other groups. You see what I mean? If that was the case last year, and they've spent from January 1st to November 1st this year, they spent $4.5 trillion. Here's the catch. From November 1st to, they said the 15th, which is pretty much now, of this month, the government plans on spending another $5 trillion internally with local businesses or businesses within the states. You know how much of that money is set aside for black-owned businesses? The media's not telling you that, and I'll tell you why. First of all, they started registering white women as minorities. Even though there are more white women in America than there are white men, they're now classified as minorities. Why? Because that's a strategic business move on the grand chessboard. So as these white women are creating new businesses, they are siphoning the set-asides that were meant for small black businesses, including black woman-owned businesses. And we're not supposed to talk about that? Huh? So I'm saying that we need to organize for real, and because again, we're going to have funding to build a community. Yeah, I'm all for the building our own, having our own, and all of that. Taking a collective step back and analyzing the entire situation, regardless how it may sound to outsiders. I believe in that. We're going to have to do it. There's no way around it. We should have our independence, man. That's a no-brainer. We shouldn't even be having this discussion. The problem is most of us have a short-ass memory and a short-ass attention span, but we better wake up really quick, man.
All right, go ahead, Shabaka. You want to respond to Dr. Hawkins real quick, and then I'll move on to other callers? You want to respond to him?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, okay. Basically, what he was saying is, makes a lot of sense and what have you. And then also, too, in addition to, is that we got to reinvest off in ourselves because I'm just paraphrasing a good doctor right there. But, essentially, we have to reinvest off in ourselves. And the only way that's going to happen is that we got to get to our babies, and this is why we got to get them out of these public indoctrination centers. It's because they're not taught that in public school. If anything, they taught in public school to go out here, learn a trade, get a skill, and go work for somebody else, as opposed to going out working for themselves and building for themselves. You see, that's how you build economical infrastructure on that. And then, too, and if there are programs out there that are not designed to fail and not to hinder us, yeah, we should take advantage of them. But even still, though, the emphasis should be on us becoming producers instead of consumers. And it's very interesting of how all these other groups of people come here. And the first place that they want to go set up their small businesses is quite a few of them set up in the black community. And then they thus in turn take that money and reinvest it off into their own infrastructures. And they don't hire so many people about the black community as they hire their own kids, their own relatives, and what have you. And I don't see a problem with that, is because, see, that's self-preservation. The problem that I have is that when my people speak of self-preservation and doing for self, then all of a sudden we get attacked educationally, intellectually, sometimes physically, and what have you. That's it's because, we're not viewed as human in this country. This is the point that I had some brain-dead Negro on my show last night who ran for the hills like he always does when he get hits with these undisputed truths. He thinks he's an American citizen. I'm trying to let him know how easy his black ass can go out here and be shot and killed by the police department. Okay, please let me finish.
Yeah, please let him finish real quick, and then I'll move on. I'll move on to the next caller. Please, let him finish. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, and then, he doesn't even recognize that fact, so he wanted to get argumentative, and the only thing I'm going to do on my podcast, man, I'm not going to put up with nobody's bullshit. I'm just going to kick you out and show you where the front door is. That's it. That's all I had to say on that one. I'm done.
All right. Thank you, Chewbacca. I got a lot of people ask me, how many people, I got on the phone line.
We should continue this later.
We should, and we will on other shows. Dr. Hawkins, I'm glad. I actually don't have your number anymore where we could converse privately. I don't know if you remember my number or not. I don't know if you're in the chat room or not. Maybe I could send it to you privately. Maybe we could do something where you and I could do a show together privately, hook up something where we can promote it a week later, where we can get other opinions on, do a 2.5-hour show. That would be great. And Chewbacca will be more than welcome to be invited also. And the Delicon, and of course John also. But we'd have to set up like a format or a platform where we can't have everybody just calling in at once, where we have just chaos. And then, because that's what I do on my show. I got everybody calling in, and everyone wants to be heard, and that's what I'm getting to right now. But Dr. Hawkins, I don't know if you remember my number or not, but if you can get into the chat room and send me a message privately, I'll text it to you, because I've got so many people on. I don't want to give out my personal number again, because I got pounded with so much nonsense. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to the brother also that was just speaking, hit me up, man. Add me on Facebook. Dr. Will Hawkins Jr. I'm easy to find. For real, this is something that we need to talk seriously about.
No, I agree with you on that.
That's great. Yeah, that's good. That's great. And that's what this show is about, understanding the times in which we live in today. But let me bring it. We still got some time left. We got 45 minutes left. So let's bring on 612. Go ahead, 612. You've been waiting 30 minutes. Go ahead. What's on your mind, 612?
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call, and good evening to everybody. I would say that the last two gentlemen that were talking about the issues, and they brought up the issue of public schools, I think that's a perfect advertisement for why we should be supporting school choice as a policy, because that would be a perfect way for allow parents, whatever views you may have or whatever community you may come from, where you as a parent would have the choice to take the federal funding and state funding that would have went to the public school. You could use that to cover your child's tuition. So for those who don't know, that's for kindergarten through 8th grade. It's about $10,000 to $12,000 per year, and for high school, it's $12,000 to $15,000 per year. So with school choice, the parents could then take that money and apply that to a tuition of the private school or charter school of their choice. And to the brother who was talking about having, getting black youth out of these public schools and getting into schools where they could be taught by actual black leaders who have more innovative thinking and can prepare them for their life after school, that's the perfect way to do that. And that would allow you to grow and expand that. But unfortunately, the Democrat Party, because they receive millions of dollars every year from teachers unions, they are blocking that. Because the teacher unions know if school choice is a policy, every parent in America is taking their kids out of a public school. That would happen overnight. Because the public schools know they can't compete. So that's just something for to think about. And I think that that people supported that and put aside whatever they feel about the president, just focus on the policy. It could have a hugely beneficial effect, especially on the black community. But the reason I called in had to do with what we saw in the UK election 2 nights ago. And I think that election is going to be a foreshadowing of what's going to happen in America in 2020. Similar to how Brexit was a foreshadow of what we saw in 2016. And I think a lot of people are overlooking that.
All right. Well, that's a great point. Actually, you're absolutely correct. Well, what happened in Brexit and everything, and that's our next election. You're absolutely correct. And with school choice, I may disagree with you on that, but I do agree with you about the Democratic Party supporting the unions and the school unions to promote the nonsense in the School Choice Act. And but you got to remember, individual states have individual rights to choose what they want. And the federal government should not be overbearing or overseeing what individual states choose. So, and so therefore you get back into the de facto and the de jure form of government that we have here. And that's where I come in, sir.
Excuse me. Could I please say something real quick? This is Dr. Hawkins. I want to add something to that. For y'all that are really paying attention, pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. As a federal contractor, do you realize I'm the one that provides the government with the food to feed your children and for these school lunch and breakfast programs? I'm sending all organic food. Things are changing. You know what I'm saying? We can change some things just long enough to where we can do what we need to do.
Dr. Hawkins,
right?
How do people get involved? I know you don't want to put yourself in jeopardy here. All right. I got to mute people. I got to mute callers here because I got a lot of background noise here. Hang on here. Let me mute some everyone here. Background noise, people. All right, goes around the line here. I left too many calls open. I apologize for that. Hang on, let me mute some callers here. Let's see, Dr. Hawkins, I didn't remember where you are. All right, I'll unmute you. Go ahead, let me unmute you. Go ahead. There was too much background noise there. Okay, Dr. Hawkins, you're a federal contractor, and how do you intend on, what do you recommend that the people out there who are not educated about this, food, very important point. What they're feeding our children is poison.
Yeah. Well, I'll put it to you like this. Listen, let me expand on that in a minute because I'm about to have a lot of background noise. So let me expand in a minute. Please let someone else go for right now.
Okay, all right. What I'll do is I'll mute you real quick. I got your number. Go ahead, Mandela-Khan, real quick. Go ahead.
Let me put in 3, understand the times we live in today. December 14th, going into 2020. And this is all in the
and by the way, Mandela-Khan, I got John who's back on the line here. But before I get to John, after you, I'll take a private caller. Go ahead. I'll take one private caller and see what happens. Go ahead.
I want y'all to bring this 3 testimony on the worldwide stage to show you why the red, black, and green is winning victory over the whole planet. The first one is Jersey City. Now, we all know about the budget appropriation and funding of North Africa, this thing called Israel in Israel. But just like Angel Eagle Love always talked to me about soap. Soap is a synonym for staged, orchestrated, activated, and presented. Soap. Everyone, put that in your itinerary. That's a synonym for staged, orchestrated, activated, and presented. Number 1 is this thing called the so-called Black Hebrew Israelite extremists that could be a terrorist, that could attack Orthodox Judaism. That is a FBI CIA connection to see where blacks who say they Hebrew Israelites could be a threat to Jewish orthodoxy, just like in the state of Israel, the state of Israel will not project the Mona Israelis, the Ethiopian Coptic Hebrews. They won't let them, Netanyahu won't let them get on top of them. That's number one. Number two is this war on terrorism. We know we went after Muammar Gaddafi, what's his name, in Libya. And we know that we went after
Omar Gaddafi in Libya, and Saddam Hussein, and then
Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
But in just the other day, the number one ally to the United States of America, Saudi Arabia, it's reported that a Saudi Arabian so-called nationalist did what he did. That's number two. Number three is the UPS, where that's the United Parcel Service. We saw where the Blue Cross Klan, the state-sponsored terrorist, that's judge, jury, and executioner in the street, not only killed the so-called commandeers who hijacked a UPS truck, Brown, but the police, the Blue Cross Klan, killed the man that was in Brown and another person. What am I saying? That's rule without regard for law. A total concerning about the common folk. It's all about being a hero.
All right, Mandela Khan, I got to move. All right, Mandela Khan, thank you for bringing those points up. Those are lots of subjects we can get into on other shows. That's fine, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one private caller, see what happens, and I'll give you a chance, private callers. I'm going to give you a chance, and then I'll open up everyone else's phone lines that we're on at 323. I see you. I'll bring you back on. I know you got a lot to say, and we got to do a podcast on your show. Go ahead, private caller. Go ahead, private caller.
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to Mandela Khan, and I just want to say a couple things on his. I've been paying attention to the matriarch and understanding the times in which we live in today, and I don't give a goddamn what Facebook don't like what I say, and I can prove it in the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
All right. Nothing but the truth. Okay. You're not saying anything. I don't care what Facebook says either, sir. I really don't. And I don't care what you got to say. You want to criticize the podcast or whatnot. What's your point? Go ahead. What's your point?
I wanted to talk about the matriarch, but I was interrupted by you, Joseph Gibson.
Yeah, that's right. I'm the host of this podcast. Please make your point real quick, please.
Okay. On behalf of everyone on the planet, without the red, black, and green, and the uniting unity from the Congo to the Bongo, we have to recognize we are the hardship crisis state of emergency as it relates to protecting the women, children, and folks and ourselves. We must recognize that heart, kidneys, livers, uterus, pineal glands, and melanin is the most sought-after commodity as it relates to white power and the elite of the planet.
All right, to white power. All right, as soon as you said that, I got to hang up.
You're repeating some things that I've said, Joe. Don't act like you don't know.
I know he did. I hung up on him. Mandela Khan, stop. Let's not turn the show into that, please. Let's not. Okay, let's move down the line here. Let's go to, all right, John's back on. John, I'm going to bring you back on. Go ahead. John, 662. And then 912. Okay. You're after John. Go ahead.
Okay, try not to interrupt me. Okay, I understand you cannot buy freedom with their money. Everybody's convinced that money is how you get freedom. Money is how you take care of things.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't work that way, okay? It does not work that way. That's why we got no freedom. You can't buy freedom. You can only rent an illusion of freedom for a short time, but you must continue paying if you want to keep that illusion going. Okay? Money is not the key to freedom. You don't need money to establish freedom. You don't need a red
John,
dime.
you said that three. John, you said that 3 times.
But it's the truth, and y'all keep saying them.
Hang on, Mandela Khan.
I repeat myself because I'm talking to children that can't hear nothing.
But hang on, John. My question is, what's the bartering system we're going to have when November 2nd comes around, 2020? What kind of bartering system do you suggest?
No bartering system. Very simple. Everybody do your part. Do a little job. Do a little bit to provide for the people of this country, and all the people of this country will be doing a little bit to provide for you. And you know what? You're going to have everything you could ever want in one day.
Yeah.
Every day of your life. You're not going to be in a
It's not going to happen, John. You know that. You know that, John. You're a damn lie, Joe.
You're a damn lie, Joe. Never evolve. If it doesn't happen, the human race will never evolve. Slavery will continue, and everybody who's fighting for their people in the name of money is just going to have their people more enslaved and more killed and slaughtered. And that's good for them.
It doesn't have to be in the name of money, John. But what, John? It's called trade, John. You think your next door neighbor is going to get up and build your next door neighbor's house that just burnt down 2 nights ago without being paid? They're going to want some sort of reward or bartering for that.
I'm pretty sure if somebody's house burns down, they'll have a brand new home within an hour. Within an hour.
Well, I'd like to know what neighborhood you live in. I like your idea, John. I like your idea. You're absolutely right. I like that. But it's not going to happen, brother.
Bro, if people aren't in need and have, they share. If the only way you're going to accomplish having something is to be taking from others, okay, they're going to take from others. But if it's all there to be shared, and all you got to do is live and let live, like he says, man, one peace, one love, one law, do no harm. It's very simple. You know, the thing is, people can't even open their minds to it because they're so stuck on, no, we need money, we need money, we need money. Money, 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 money. Money are the chains.
People can't open their minds to it, John, because they have faults. Because you know what? Your next door neighbor or the guy 2 blocks away is going to get drunk one night and drive down the road and smash into a family of 4 and kill them. Then what happens?
Okay,
where's your law then? Where's your law?
Anyway, if somebody gets drunk and that's stupid, it's going to be done under any system. But in a system where we have
laws, that provide certain circumstances for that, John.
But wait. Listen to this. Imagine a system where everybody is responsible and everybody is a police officer in their own sense.
Whoa. Okay. Why am I responsible for you, John? I don't want to be responsible for you. I just want to live in my home and take care of myself.
You interrupt constantly.
What about your neighbor? What about your neighbor, Joe?
Well, a man goes to get in his car and drive drunk.
All right, let John speak. Go ahead, John.
Let me finish. Okay, somebody gets in their car to drive drunk. Everybody that sees it happening knows it's their responsibility to stop it, not to call 911 and let him fucking do the damage so the 911 can show up after the fact. No, it's my responsibility to stop it. Now, if you have vehicles and you see someone driving drunk, and you know, hey, I can get my vehicle fixed and replaced for free tomorrow because it's not a matter of money, you can actually put your vehicle in front of his, let him crash your vehicle, and at least you know you stop that drunk driver. And you know what? Not about money.
All right, John. Okay, John. All right, I see your point, John. All right, John, let's use hypotheticals here. Let's use hypotheticals because these happen every single day in daily lives across America, across the globe today. Okay, but let's focus on America because that's the country we live in, and that's where most of our callers are from here tonight. I pull up to a gas station. Some guy's drunk. He decides to rob the clerk because he wants a gallon of milk in your system. He just wants to take it just because he's drunk and he's intoxicated and high on drugs. You're telling me, and John, let me finish. You're telling me it's my responsibility to walk in there and stop that madman? No, it's not. You know what? I want to go home. I don't want to be bothered with that bullshit. And you know what? Let the guy. You got to have laws, John. You got to have laws to control people.
That milk is free to him. That milk is free to him. He doesn't steal it. He goes and picks it up. It's there for him to get if he wants. There is no stealing anymore. You can't steal something.
Well, who made that milk? John, but nobody's going to make that. But you don't understand. What are you talking about? It's free. Nothing is free in life. That goes on back to the beginning of time and civilization. Nothing is free. We all work by the sweat of our brow, blood, sweat, and tears. We all got to create and procreate. We all work and we barter and trade with each other. That's been going on, and you're telling me that that's all of a sudden going to stop next year on November 2nd? and you're going to arrest the United States government and the whole world and China, and everybody's going to say, oh, God, look what the United States has done. Let's all get along. The Chinese are going to give up their yang. The Russians are going to give up their rubles. And the Iraqis are going to give up their dinars, and the Muslims are going to give up their dinars. Everybody's going to say we're going to procreate what the United States does, because John Son and his followers on Facebook are saying we just do no harm. We're going to live and let live, and everyone's going to take, and we're going to have at it, and everyone can have everything for free. That means all the farmers that wake up in the morning, you wake up at 4:30, you go milk those cows. I'm coming to get some milk, and I don't have to pay for it. You know what? And you farmers out there, and you pig farmers, and all you people out there working construction, building houses, you're going to build up me. As a matter of fact, I need a new shed behind my house. You're going to come build it for me for free. John, what I'm trying to say to you is people, the human people, are not going to work without some sort of bartering system in place. It's not going to happen. The Indians bartered.
Okay, what you're
because
saying
even
is,
the Indians bartered with each other.
What you're saying
it's
is,
not going to happen.
What you're saying is a man would rather slave his entire life for a little tiny pennies than live like a king and to work a little bit for everything all his life.
John, you're creating a utopia. This has been tried before. It doesn't work. I know your Phoenix project. Your Phoenix project got. It didn't work, John.
It's close to it. The
John.
Venus Project, and it's doing well.
It did not work, John. I studied that back in 2008, 2006 when I was studying the New World Order. Okay? It didn't work. It's not going to work, John. The human race, the human population, John, it doesn't work. Utopia. You're trying to create heaven on earth. It's not going to happen. People are just not going to let's all get along. We're going to disagree with each other. You got people on this phone line right now, John, that hate black people. You got people on this phone line that are black that hate white people. You got people on this phone line that hate everybody just because of who they are. You got people on this phone line, John, that how are you going to convince them? It's just the nature of man. It's called mankind. Now
all right.
Bing.
Closing comments.
Okay, wait. I'm not here to convince anything. Okay, you all make
it's a conversation, John. John, it's a conversation we need to continue. You're absolutely correct, John. You're absolutely correct. It's a conversation. And, John, I'm going to start with you first. Go ahead. Take 1 minute, because we got to do 1 minute, because we're going to run out of time here. If I move up the board here, that everybody that I've got on right now waiting, 1 minute. Go ahead, John. Everybody will get 1 minute here for some closing thoughts to the podcast here tonight. And tomorrow night, we'll be back on at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go ahead, John. The floor is yours.
I'm not here to convince programmed slave that his entire life he's been programmed to believe money is it. That's all that matters. I'm not here to convince them of anything. The ones that have the thinking mind still, that are already awake, they can see it. I'm just trying to reach each one of them so we can all unite and exercise what needs to be exercised. These countries are standing up already. The people of the country are already trying to fight for their freedom. You had 80% of the people in France on the streets protesting and trying to stop their government. But what did they do wrong? 80% stood up peacefully. They did not do it by force, so they lost. They're losing. They've been doing it over a year now, every weekend, all weekend, and they're losing more and more every day. Okay? It doesn't matter, man. Whatever people want to do, they can do. I'm not here to force anything on anybody. I'm just pointing out, look, there's a better way for humanity, and we could all live like kings and queens. That's all I'm here to do. Point it out. Point the way.
All right, John, that's right. I give you 1 minute, and I want you to listen to everyone else. Listen, give the people their respect. 506, go ahead. You get 1 minute here. Go ahead. Run your mouth. Go ahead. Everyone gets to talk about what they want to talk about. 1 minute. Go ahead. 506. All right, 506. Going once. Going twice. Sold. You're muted. All right. 336. 1 minute. Go ahead, 336. You want to talk here? Hang on. See what's going on here?
Yeah, why the hell was I muted to start with? Yeah, I'd like to know why I was muted to start with. Jesus Christ.
Go ahead,
I mean,
you got a minute.
John,
the floor is yours.
I know I got a minute. You ain't got to tell me 10 times. John, your thing won't work simply because if the whole world did what you wanted to do at that exact time, yes, it'd be all right. But what's going to happen to the international businessman when he no longer has money or has nothing but has to travel to China to do something? I'll tell you what's going to happen. He's going to be stuck in China because he's got no fucking money to fly home, you batshit crazy bastard.
All right. Come on. I'm trying. All right, 336. Come on. You know, I was trying to let you make your point there. You know, that's unnecessary. Come on, guys. There's no need for that crap. There's not.
That's perfect what he said.
Yeah, I know, but John, he makes a perfect point. That's how the world operates today. Do you think anyone's just going to say, "Okay, John, we're going to fix your system"? But anyway, let's go with Shabaka.
Give me 5 seconds to say this. I'm talking about without money, and all you people say is, but a world without money, we won't be able to do anything. But if everything is able to be done without the money, but you keep saying, but we won't be able to do it because we don't have the money. Because your mentality, you've been so brainwashed and so dumbed down, it's not worth my time here talking to you. Because you're too fucking stupid to open your eyes and see what I'm saying.
All right. Okay, John. All right, John. Let's go to 323. Tonight's podcast was crazy with Shabaka. Please invite me to your next show and let's schedule this. Let's do this. Go ahead, Chewbacca.
Okay, yeah, sure. Absolutely. Okay. All right, yeah, like I said, as far as what the gentleman was saying earlier, you know, as far as the black youth being educated with the federal grants, yeah, I'm very, very interested in, you know, conversing with him. I believe that is Dr. Hawkins. Also, too, Joe, I'm going to try to go into pre-production either tonight or first thing early tomorrow. And I'll definitely let you know, but definitely keep an eye on Blog Talk Radio because I think they should have like those reminder notices that they send and what have you. And so, and I will put it out there, you know, what we're going to be talking about, you know, do your research, come on the show, and others are welcome to. Yeah, just as long as just be respectful, you know what I'm saying? Not a bunch of yelling and babbling, name calling and all that, because I'm not going to go for it. Now, John, to you, first place, man, you're not going to get nothing done in this world without somebody being compensated for their labor, okay? It was just like when you look at all forms of life, they go out, they put their labor in to maintain their existence. Now, I think what John's problem is, or not a problem, but what he keeps mentioning on is about the inadequacy of wealth distribution. Okay. All right. Wealth distribution. That there's something, you know, that's got to be examined and that there's got to be looked at as well, too. It's because nobody's going to go out here and work for free. You're not going to get rid of money, man. You're not going to get rid of the medium exchange. So whatever you're smoking, man, whatever meth you're on, opioids, marijuana, LSD, acid, man, you need to quit taking that shit. I'm serious. Really?
I know. All right, Chewbacca, all right. Let me get to Dr. Hawkins here. And before I get to Dr. Hawkins, I just want to say, Dr. Hawkins, I'm so glad that your grandma is 106 years old. Wow. I know a lot of people don't believe what I believe, but I want to say God bless her. And I know at one time years ago, you said, I'd like to get her on your podcast when you and I talk privately, you know. But I know 106 years old, she's probably got a lot of things on her mind, and she's probably, you know, worried about you as her grandson. And I want to say that's an honor to have someone who knows a black woman that's 106 years old out there that has seen history, has lived it.
Yeah.
And if we could ever have a voice like hers on this podcast, that would be something that would blow everyone's mind wide open, because to have a black woman who's lived 106 years be on this podcast, that would be something special. But Dr. Hawkins, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, and thank you for the kind words. And I will definitely talk to Grandma Irene and pass on the message. You know, look, and look, I want to make it clear. I understand what John is trying to say. In a perfect world, okay? But now, I mean, it's not going to happen. If you really think it's going to happen, how about you lead by example?
Lead by example and don't use any damn currency to pay your rent. Don't use it to buy any food. None of that.
Right.
No gasoline for your truck or car. Okay? Don't going around selling black folk a dream. Or anybody, period, but especially black folk. Please don't do that because you don't speak for us. Okay? Our ancestors died so we could get a piece of this monetary pie unmolested. We had folks play with us and burn down Black Wall Street when we separated ourselves and created our own damn greatness. And I'll be damned if I let you tell us to let all that stuff go idly by and just forget about it. You need to get off the symbolic crack pipe, as Dr. West would say. Okay, but anyhow, I mean, you know, I think that if we stop bickering and fighting amongst ourselves for 5 minutes, all of us across so-called racial lines would see what the real enemy is. I mean, we got to ask ourselves some serious questions. Like, what is the enemy of free humanity? Is this an ancient enemy? You know, I mean, we need to really have this discussion, but it's scary. And a lot of people are scared of their own shadow, so they won't have these types of dialogues. But one thing I know for sure is that these kids need us. They need to see black men and black women in unison. They need to see us, yeah, sure, we can have our differences, fine. Okay, but they need to see us handle that situation like adults. You see, we got to mend this brokenness somehow. And creating more discord and strife and the unnecessary violence and the name calling and all this other stuff, man, that's not the way that we're going to heal anything. And I will say this too. As far as solutions, I recently announced, and people said I was racist for saying this, and for the record, black people cannot be racist, as some of us already know. That's an institution that was set up a long time ago for so-called white people. But that, you know, I won't get too far into that. But what I'm trying to say is this here. Most of the time, when you think about black excellence, what is the image that comes to your mind? A performer, a singer, a dancer, a sports player, right? Now I'm talking to white America now. If that is the case, then in some way, shape, or form, you have fallen victim, if you're not racist, to the ideologies of white supremacy or so-called white supremacy, okay, and racism, this and that. And a lot of us have fallen victim to it. You know how many times I hear black folks say, wow, a black scientist. I never thought I'd meet a black scientist. That's a damn shame since we created science. Right. I mean, so for me, that's just mind-boggling. So for us to pretend like we're supposed to sit in a corner somewhere and not articulate our feelings, not articulate what we know about our own greatness and our own history, not to minimize anybody else's achievements, but to simply say, look, we are in a society right now that was designed to psychically, mentally, and physically kill us, right? You got to understand that. This society was designed to gentrify us and all this other stuff that we see going on, and pretending like it's not there ain't going to do you a damn bit of good. If I tell you there's an F5 tornado coming your way, you ignoring that tornado and going about your merry way is not the thing to do, because that tornado is still coming. And the best thing you can do is prepare. So from my vantage point, I'm just looking at it like this. How can we prepare ourselves and the children to survive what's next? The United Nations told us back in 2016, and I'm a vendor for the UN, right? They told us that by the year 2030, over 2 billion people around the world are going to die because they don't have access to drinking water. 2 billion. Now, who the hell do you think they're talking about?
Isn't that disgusting? Isn't that a shame in today's modern society? Isn't that a shame?
It's beyond a shame. I'd say it's just flat out evil. Okay? First of all, I mean, we live in the richest nation in the history of the world, first and foremost. and America's infrastructure is kaput. We're drinking recycled toilet water. 90% of our drinking water has been shipped to China ever since 2008, and nobody's talking about that. All right. Now, for the record, I created a portable water treatment plant that treats basically 6,500 gallons of water a day from any source. So you're talking about solutions. I just announced this through social media and my website.
And those of you who don't know
ago.
who, and hang on, Dr. Hawkins. Those of you who don't know Dr. Hawkins, he's come on my show years ago actually, and he and I have talked privately. He's one of those little inventors out there that are always, going around trying to make things better, and there's nothing wrong with that. I want to say, Dr. Hawkins, it's been a pleasure hearing your voice. It's been a pleasure hearing your voice again.
It's good to be on your show. It's always good to be on your show. And guys, look, I'll just close with this, man. I really wish that more of the public dialogue and discourse could go like it's been going on this show. Yeah, we had a little bumps and bruises along the way with John or whatnot, but really at the end of the day, we're men, and women. We can rise above that pettiness, especially if we all have the same objective in mind, and that is for the freedom of the people. Because I, again, agree with my brothers. We're not free right now, man, and I'm not going to disgrace my ancestors by lying and saying that we are. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I will say this, we can get free, but y'all got to make up your minds, man. You got to stop bullshitting with it. These people are preparing for something. I'm telling you that right now. So what are we going to do? We're going to keep tallywhacking measuring?
You're absolutely correct.
We're going to man up and we're going to start speaking truth to power, and more importantly, are we going to start building?
That's right. And before I get to Mandelacon here for closing thoughts here, I don't know if Shabaka, matter of fact, Shabaka, I'll let you get some closing thoughts here. Let me go to 619 here. It's been waiting 30 minutes real quick. We've still got 8 minutes left. I want Mandelacon to get some closing thoughts. He's been quiet. He's always respectful on the show. I will give him that. He doesn't talk over everybody else. So, go ahead, 619, real quick. 619, you there?
Yeah, there was a term brought up as far as that black people cannot be racist. And right before that, Joseph Gibson, you said that there are black people that don't like white people and then white people that don't like black people and someone that doesn't like anybody. So the definition of a racist, I don't have to tell it to all of you, but a black man can be a racist. I want that to be known today. And I don't know where anybody gets off not admitting that a black man can be a racist. That's just very unfortunate.
All right. So your point is that can a black individual in the global community, not just America but around the world, can be a racist and think they're superior over them? And what's your definition of racist, though? So what is your definition of racist?
Well, you can just go to Webster's dictionary, Merriam Dictionary, or you can even just Google what a racist is, and I'll do that right now for you. But you know what a racist is, okay? I don't know why I'm having to. Okay, well, let's do this then. A person who shows or feels discrimination or prejudice against people of other races, or who believes that a particular race is superior to another. Or the adjective for that is showing or feeling discrimination or prejudice against people of other races or believing that a
proper
particular
definition.
race is.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're absolutely correct, sir. You're absolutely correct. If there's black people that identify them, but the problem is, you know what? All this categoryism is we identify ourselves as this guy's black, this guy's white, this guy's Hispanic, this guy's this guy's that, instead of having the main focal point on who's identifying us as these certain categories. Like you just said, we can go to Webster's dictionary. Well, who's Webster? Who's Webster? Who wrote these definitions? And the thing of it is that, we have to get back to the original roots of who we are. We're human beings, and we're here on this show, at least on this show, sir, trying to understand the time. And Shabaka, he's trying to do the same thing. I believe he's trying to do the same thing. I think that's why he wants to be on his show. we're trying to identify, understanding the times in which we live in today, so we don't kill each other, like Mandela says, kill or be killed, and so we can move forward here and get rid of the nonsense and start.
Well,
and
exactly
like
what I'm
Archibald was
talking
saying,
I think we should all acknowledge ourselves as being that we're all Americans. I mean, when Dr. Peter Paul Ventura of Ventura Beach, California, for Bible Believers Church, do my sermon, it's with an American flag. My name is Dr. Peter Paul Ventura, and I approve this message.
All right, sir. All right. I think I know what you're getting to. That's fine. You could do whatever you got to do, but you did pretty good there for a little bit. But you made some great points there. You did. Private caller, real quick before I get to Mandela time. Private caller, 30 minutes you've been waiting. Go ahead. You want to say something for a minute? Go ahead. Nope, you don't want to say nothing. Okay. All right, next private caller. I'm giving the private callers a minute. Okay. All right, that's it. All right, let me get rid of them. All right, Mandela Khan. Go ahead, Mandela Khan. Go ahead. Take.
Joe. Joe Gibson.
Damn, did he get disconnected?
Y'all can hear my voice?
Yes,
okay, I can hear you. Very good.
See, they got
understand the times we live in today.
What racist is. They think that we can be racist. They don't recognize the bigger picture of racism as the institution. It's a worldwide.
Who's that speaking? You know
who this is? This is Dr. Hawkins.
Okay, I'm on closing comments. If Joe Gibbons is not there, I'm not going to get into a discourse or a debate on who's racist, who's not. I have some new information on behalf of John Son and November 2020, who's the jab and the knockout punch, the right hand.
And by the way, guys, Blog Talk, hang on, Mendoza, Blog Talk Radio did kick me off. We got about 3 minutes left before they kick us all off. So
okay.
Go ahead, Mendoza. The floor is yours.
Okay, let me say this. There is a blueprint for a safer humanity, for living, let live in one love. And I will elaborate tomorrow. I want Dr. Hawkins, John, Joe, Shabaka, Angel Love, Oxida Veda. Look up Dum Media, Dr. Wow in the office in Pattaya, Thailand. Pattaya, Thailand is the blueprint for live and let live in one love. And I'll elaborate tomorrow. But here's where the exotic live and let live in one love, without racist bias and prejudice, everyone Google right now, Dum Media, DUM Media, Dr. Wow in the office. And watch every video. And what you'll see is that you'll see a multitude of men, black and African, from Austria, England, United States of America. They look like Humpty Dumpty and Pillsbury Doughboys. But when you get to Pattaya, Thailand, you will see the physical application of live and let live in one love, and you will see the most beautiful women of all ages, a multitude, a plethora of women, accepting all of the men who have ran from their responsibilities in their local county, city, state, and sector. Dum Media, Dr. Wow in the office. And what you'll witness is that the most beautiful women next to African women are in Thailand. That's Pattaya, Thailand. You won't see a fat woman with her rolls and all this, I can't breathe, because of their diet. And you'll also see that they are interacting, holding hands, loving every man that comes into their local county, city, state, municipality. whether they are 8 or 80, the women treat every man with unconditional, selfless love, and it is only exhibited on the planet Earth in Pattaya, Thailand. That is the blueprint for safer humanity, and the United States of America has to duplicate that feat. And equally as important, when it comes to cost of living, you could take $500 and live in Pattaya, Thailand, and get the greatest diet, food, clothing, and shelter, and the police and the army will not interfere with your affairs as long as you love everybody in your local, county, city, state, and federal sector. So I want Shabaka, Dr. Hawkins, Joe, John, Dr. Leroy, and